Welcome. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguilera. We'll begin with the World Economic Forum Davos agenda, which we hear has opened as the first global platform of 2022 for world leaders to come together to share their visions for the year ahead. The week-long virtual event will feature heads of state and government, CEOs and other leaders to discuss the critical challenges facing the world today and present their ideas on how to address them. The event opened with a commitment to global cooperation by the President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping, and will also mark the launch of several forum initiatives, including efforts to accelerate the race to net zero emissions, ensure the economic opportunity of nature-positive solutions, create cyber resilience, strengthen global value chains, build economies in fragile markets through humanitarian assistance, bridge the vaccine manufacturing gap, and use data solutions to prepare for the next pandemic.
Down of traditional energy in the cause of finding reliable substitution in new energy. This approach, which combines phasing out the old and bringing in the new, will ensure steady economic and social development. China will also actively engage in international cooperation on climate and jointly work for a complete transition to a greener economy and society.
We must continue to fight against the global pandemic. We must revitalize the global economy and accelerate its transition to net zero. We must preserve biodiversity by deploying nature-based solutions, and we must narrow the gap between the rich and the poor to achieve more sustainable global development.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo and Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, are among world leaders scheduled to address the virtual event. And back home for us, after 8 months of steady decline in the nation's headline inflation, new data shows that the month of December saw inflation rise to 15.63%. The National Bureau of Statistics attributes this rise to increased demand fueled by holiday shopping. Leah Katung Babatunde will tell us more.
April 2021 headline inflation declined steadily for 8 months, a journey that began at 18.12% and came all the way down to 15.4% in November. The 8 months journey was however halted in December 2021, largely due to market forces.
Was as a result of increase in demand for goods and services, which eventually affected the prices of goods and services by raising them up. And so you recall, and if you check the trend of all the CPI that we were producing in recent years, you discover that the month of December, perhaps because every average Nigerian saves some money for the December purchases.
The latest figures show that headline inflation is 0.23 percentage points higher than the rate recorded in November 2021. On a month-on-month basis, the headline index increased by 1.82% in December 2021. Core inflation for December 2021 was 13.87%, while that of November was 13.85%. Food inflation in the month under review was 17.37% from 17.21% recorded in November 2021. Urban inflation was 16.17% from 15.92% recorded in November 2021, while rural inflation was 15.11%.
We produce our statistics strictly based on the recommendation by the United Nations Statistics Division, which is the coordinating organ of the entire statistical system all over the world.
Ebonyi State was the most expensive, recording the highest rise on all items at 18.71%, while Kwara State recorded the lowest. Food was most expensive in Kogi State at 22.82%, and the lowest figure was recorded in Edo State. In Abuja, Leah Katung-Babatunde, NTA News.
Strict implementation of the Economic Sustainability Plan has facilitated diversification of the economy and reduction in medical tourism following the upgrading of health facilities nationwide. Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, stated this on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria while giving updates on the Economic Sustainability Plan alongside other guests. Let's hear more from Joseph Otsen.
We didn't want to go into a deep recession or even go into a depression, which was why we had to do that stimulus. But we only had 2 quarters of negative growth.
Indeed, the devastating effect of COVID-19 on the global economy needs a well-designed and workable framework. This is a step Nigeria has taken with its Economic Sustainability Plan, ESP, as a working tool to cushion the impact of the pandemic. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria say the plan was pivotal in pulling Nigeria out of recession, and it is now serving as a cornerstone to the nation's economic diversification policy.
We've had examples where we've gone and we have provided power to communities. That power that we have provided, you find out that rice mills are coming up, you're having more barbers shops, you're having more economic clusters, more commercial hubs.
With creation of job and wealth key to the recovery plan, 2.1 million jobs have so far been created or retained, and 250,000 businesses are registered free under the Survivor Fund scheme.
Looking at our numbers, you can see that we're giving a target of 1.3 to ensure that we sustain those jobs. As it is right now, we are on almost 1 million, we're on 1,100,000, close to 120,000, and those numbers are still being updated.
The Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, says ESP also gave Nigeria an opportunity to improve its vulnerable healthcare system, with more facilities established and 50 outfits producing sanitizers across the country.
It was an opportunity for us to create 52 additional molecular labs across the country in the federal tertiary, medical tertiary institutions. So it now means that if you're in Sokoto and there's a suspicion for Lassa fever, you don't need to take the sample to IRA.
The federal government launched the Nigerian Economic Sustainability Plan in 2020 and approved 2.3 trillion naira for its implementation. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, in partnership with Farmers Association, are set to release about 3 million bags of rice paddy to processors. The initiative is expected to address challenges being faced by millers and at the same time crash the price of processed rice in the market. The Apex Bank has provided a loan facility that supported 4.8 million farmers who cultivated 5.3 million hectares of land last year.
It was a cashless initiative that depended mainly on providing the essential inputs that the farmers require. So the farmer that used to depend on modules of fertilizer now had access to between 4 and 6 bags of fertilizer for his hectare. We also introduced enhanced the dry season agriculture so that we had, rather than depending on rainfall for only a single season, now our farmers can do 3 seasons.
The impact on farmers all around the country has been tremendous. And this, of course, has had a very positive effect in mobilizing the farmers in the South-South region, the 6 states of the South-South, Cross River State, Akwa Ibom State, Rivers State, Bayelsa State, Delta State, and of course Edo State, massively into rice farming. The hectare of that cultivation in the South region has increased tremendously within the past 6 years of introduction of the Akobra program in Nigeria.
President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to unveil the millions of bags of rice arranged in the form of pyramids as part of the loan recovery. The rice will be handed over to rice millers on Tuesday.
Actively, after the unveiling on Tuesday, by Wednesday, the mills will be coming here with their trucks to evacuate this paddy based on their allocations to their mills. However, in partnership with Refund, we've also been able to put a strategy in place so that we can track the milled rice to the market. The most important thing is we are able to cascade these gains to the Nigerian consumer.
Through this Anchor Borrowers program, it has given farmers hope and joy because we are now using our hand to produce what we eat through the initiative of our president. And a very big thank you to him. He's a president that loves Nigerian farmers. He takes care of them and make sure that we have input on time, that we are cultivating what you have seen today.
Still on agriculture, farmers in the FCT are suggesting that government clears all the forest reserves across the country for the expansion of farmlands for agricultural development. The Bureau Micah in this report takes a look at the prospect for farmers in the year 2022.
It's one of the best in the world. I can testify to that. And then are you talking of a forest that could have been used to grow cocoa or coffee?
2021 COVID-19 global pandemic amid surge in national insecurity in the country created fears in farmers, making farming activities skeletal for those farmers who saw the lockdown as an opportunity to drive food production by tilling the soil in the year under review. Transportation and acquisition of mechanized farming equipment became another challenge. Collecting these experiences, some commercial farmers in the FCT advised that government at all levels take seriously the agricultural diversification policy to ensure food security in Nigeria in the year 2022 and beyond.
Nigeria, we have a lot of land opportunities, water that we can produce even to export. Because the policies, they come with a very cumbersome, process that you spend years, you didn't get hand to anything. You should focus on us, at least ease the process so that we can access funds and support it in achieving its own desire.
Forest, allocate it to big farmers. Create farmers. We can create big farmers as a government and as people. Create them. And then let them take over those forests and create economic activities. What breeds insurgent and kidnapping is lack of employment. Then we must use what we have to build our country.
Briefing, FCT Agric Secretariat pledged support for mechanized farming as a way forward this year.
Our method of production. We cannot continue to say we want to increase agriculture by just merely using these local tools now, and cutlasses. There's nowhere we can go with it. We need to also bring technology into agriculture. Like I said, if you're talking of crop, irrigation is important. The use of improved seed varieties is important, or breeds of livestock are all what it takes to increase the agriculture. And so the farmers should be trained to use modern agricultural practices such that at the end of the day, the output they are going to get will be more and better improved than what they are currently doing.
Agriculture remains the largest sector of the nation's economy, employing 2/3 of the entire labor force. Deborah Gazaji-Micah, NTA News.
Governor Bello Mohammed Matawale of Zamfara State has expressed optimism that the bandits and other criminal elements threatening the peace, security and socio-economic well-being of the state will soon meet their Waterloo. The governor stated this while briefing journalists after a closed-door engagement with the president on the security situation in the state. We'll bring you the full details of this report in our subsequent bulletin. Following poor record of harvest by dry season farmers along the bank of River Benue as a result of siltation of the river caused by climate change, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources has begun desilting some parts of the river to inject enough water to over 250 hectares of farmland to enhance food production. Tafawa Hamza Mayo reports.
Nigeria has witnessed an increase in agricultural production and processing in recent years. Kudos to Buhari-led administration for putting the necessary machineries on ground. Relevant ministries, departments and agencies are up and doing. Despite their efforts, challenges emanating from climate change is affecting their output.
Behind me is River Benue. As you can see, the river is silt up. What is needed is the silting of the river. Millions of people depend on this river for agricultural activities.
We don't have adequate water along the west bank for pumping. The river has changed its course due to siltation.
With the challenges at hand, farmers along River Benue in the last 2 seasons have recorded poor yield as a result of not having enough water to irrigate their farms.
You see, last time we have suffered a lot from lack of water supply.
Most of our farmers was discouraged because of that drought.
To enhance their production, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources through the Upper Benue River Basin Development Authority have started desilting western part of the river to create canals that will inject water to over 250 hectares of land being cultivated at Gerio, Jimete Eola. With this development, the farmers are optimistic that 2022 dry season farming will record a bumper harvest and commended the Upper Benue for considering their plight. In Eola, Tafawa, Hamzamayo, NTA News.
Let's turn to the legislature. The National Assembly says it is set to reconvene on Tuesday, 18th of January 2022, with the consideration of the Constitution Amendment Bill top on its priority list. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unkwa reports.
The National Assembly adjourned for Christmas and New Year holidays after the passage of the 2022 Appropriations Bill on the 21st of December 2021 by the House of Representatives and on the 22nd by the Senate. On that day, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan gave a preview of what to expect when the legislators return from the recess.
When we return, we have one major legislation, and that is the Constitution Amendment. We are expectant that our Committee on the Review of the Constitution will be presenting the report to this chamber as soon as we resume. Actually, the committee has done so much.
The committees on constitutional amendment of both chambers of the National Assembly had subjected the bill to public hearings in all geopolitical zones of the country.
We are ready to go. This Senate meant business last year, and we will see mean business this year because the constitutional amendment on the Senate side is ready. We are waiting for House of Representatives to bring the amendments so we can go through it and then come to conference. I happen to be a member of that committee.
The Constitution Review. You retool your legislation, your laws, your constitution, your acts to suit the contemporary issues that are, that are there.
President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan, on that last plenary for 2021, also announced that when the legislators return, that they will be looking into the issues raised by the President as reasons for not assenting to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill.
To await when we will reconvene together with our colleagues from the House of Representatives so that we look at the issues raised, and then as a National Assembly, we address the situation in whatever way is appropriate.
I think that maybe we have to, of course, consult with Mr. President. I am the representative of the government on the floor. I am also the representative of the party on the floor. We may have to consult further.
At the moment, all departments in the National Assembly are bracing up for the takeoff of legislative activities for 2022. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
All right, we'll stop here for now as we join Kende in Lagos. She's going to bring us the next set of reports.
Hello, Ruth. Glad to have you join us in Lagos. The political space in the country is coming alive again in the build-up to another election cycle. As the permutation thickens and the process of alignment and realignment begins, what is the responsibility of ordinary Nigerians in this mix? Adeniyi Taiwo tries to find out.
For many Nigerians, the 2023 presidential election is still far away, so they go about their normal businesses. While for others, the election will come when it will come, and they are counting on God to do the best thing for Nigeria.
Yes, and I'm sure He will lead us right. 2023. Let's even chop this one we are eating first. We just started 2022. We are thinking about 2023. Are we not asking for too much from God?
But what understanding do they have of their own rules in the build-up to and during the elections?
I will swallow both. But I'm not going to vote based on political party.
So the first thing is for us to remove our eye from whatever money somebody will bring
We know, so some people, sometimes the right ones may not have money to spread around. So it's our own duty to know who will serve us for better.
While the independent electoral body, political parties, and those seeking elective offices are working out modalities to deliver their mandates and achieve their aspirations, experts say ordinary Nigerians must also stake their own claim in the process by arming themselves with requisite information and voter cards.
We must get information about the issues, the candidate, why, their antecedent, and what have they done. They cannot be persuaded only by words. They themselves must ask questions so that we can jointly take the right decision.
To ensure that they educate they engage in peer education, telling their colleagues, their neighbors, their friends to participate in the process. Voter education is not just the responsibility of INEC, it is the responsibility of everyone.
Just talking about whether your vote will count, our vote will count. If we are determined, the people who rig for the politicians are human beings like me and you. We will stop them. We will stop them. And we will tell them what is right.
With more sensitization to awaken the consciousness of Nigerians to their civic election duties, it is expected that the coming polls would pave way for an improved democratic experience. In Lagos, Ntalive, NTA News.
Away from political matters, the voices of campaigners against rape and rapists are increasing daily. Government is also playing its part by enacting laws to punish perpetrators. As some of the rapists face consequences of their actions, victims need psychological and medical help to escape the trauma. John Adams examines an important aspect of this help.
Mrs. Paris Ado-Sanusi is a human rights activist. Her passion has led her to many downtrodden, among them victims of rape. One of her concerns is that some of them do not speak out, despite the multidimensional effects of rape.
A lot of them fear being stigmatized. That's why they don't want to speak out. Sometimes they even stigmatize themselves. They feel bad from within. They are feeling bad. So they live with the shame of being raped.
For rape victims and their families, living with scars of being defiled can be psychologically draining, and being infected with HIV by their predators create pains that may never heal. With medical advancement providing a way to help victims of rape by protecting them from contracting the virus, experts say there is need for victims to now speak out.
Some survivors who have contracted HIV, we try our best to prevent that, which is why we have PEP, the PEP, that's post-exposure prophylactics, to prevent that if identified immediately within the first 3 days, that's the first 72 hours.
So it's PEP for everyone, not really, but it is basically indicated for those who are at high risk of contracting HIV.
For those that are not lucky to escape the virus, immediate treatment is advised, as HIV is not a death sentence.
What HIV self-testing brings to the table now is to improve the access of everyone to HIV testing. So everybody, including this population, can now know their HIV status in the comfort of their room.
As the campaign against rape and rapists, as well as enlightenment on what victims and their families should do to minimize the effects, continues, experts maintain that voicing out remains key in the healing process. In Lagos, John, NTA News.
And those are the stories making around in Lagos at this time. Let's take a short break. Nationwide continues with Zaret in Jos.
The ever-busy ancient city of Onitsha is a commercial hub with millions of commuters seamlessly linking other states daily for business, leisure, and other purposes. To upscale its road network, The construction of a 1.6-kilometer-long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha Bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger Bridge Onitsha will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government, and it is deserving of all the applause.
The Bureau of Public Procurement cordially invites heads of procurement in all ministries, departments, agencies, all federal government institutions in the country, contractors, civil society organizations, and the general public to a one-day stakeholder sensitization workshop on the implementation of the e-government procurement in Nigeria. Date, 20th January 2022, Golden Tulip Hotel, Port Harcourt, time 9 a.m. 27 January 2022, Lagos Admiralty Conference Center, 9 a.m. 3rd February 2022, Abuja Nikon Luxury Hotel, time 9 a.m. For more information, please call 0806 785 1616.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Other Femi Martins, just look at this. Remember the name.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA, powered by Afrosports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
And there's the start. And
Archbishop of basketball, goal! He hung on that net like a stalk up a tree.
NTA Sports 24 brings you all sports, all time and all day. Tune in to watch NTA Sports 24 on Star Times Channel 270, StarSat on Channel 434 and Free TV on Channel 731. NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
everything music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder. No.
Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
It's time to use our voice.
Beyond Six Packs.
Bills.
Pay the bills, keep paying my telephone bills.
Flutterwave, AUB broadcast partner of the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Cameroon 2021.
Good to have you join us on match day 9 of the 33rd edition of our continent's greatest showpiece, the Africa Cup of Nations. What drama we had yesterday as the second set of group games, rounded off with defending champions Algeria on the brink of elimination. Now today, we begin the last set of group games with matches taking place simultaneously. Our focus is, of course, on the hosts, Cameroon, who take on Cape Verde. This is a live studio of Afrosport reaching you on NTA, AIT, Silverbird, and 14 other partner stations nationwide, all made possible by Flutterwave. My name is Ademola Adedoyin, and I have with me today the one and only Babajide Guerrero. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Never been better. It's a fantastic feel. It's a spectacular tournament we've witnessed so far. You can agree with me. We've been on this journey together, UB,
Yes.
from the get-go, from the beginning of this particular football tournament. And every day it just keeps getting better.
Getting better.
We can't get enough of the football, the strategies by the team, the absolute love, the passion that African football brings.
Speaking of getting better, I also have here with me UV